I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk about my experience of being on this video music shoot a couple days ago. I don't really talk so much about my acting experiences. I know I put up a couple videos, but music videos are a little bit different than the normal productions that we normally do, because Tierra acts as well. And you know, being on set life, it certainly is a hashtag by itself for sure, because it's unlike any other thing that I've ever done. But I just find my experience personally is very unique, especially rocking my natural hair. And so I wanted to share my experience being on this video and how cattywampus everything went and how it ended up playing out. So I'm gonna share that with you guys. Maybe you're interested, you're trying to get into the business, or you just wanna be nosy, or whatever it is. I hope you like this video. If you do, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. We normally do fashion and beauty videos, but we kind of cover everything that's lifestyle related. So if you wanna see more videos like that, please hit the subscribe button so that you can get inbox notifications every time we upload a brand new video. All right, so let's just get into it. I'm talking to you guys and to Tierra right now, so if I kind of look off camera, it's because I'm looking at Tierra, okay? All right, so yeah, I guess let me go and break it down for you. I go to set, and we had to be there like 1 o'clock, which in this business is like hurry up and wait. So when we go to set, it's hurry up and wait. Like, you have a call time, you have to be there at that time, you do your paperwork or whatever you're gonna do, and then you literally just usually sit there. But in this case, I sat there for like almost 10 hours, not doing anything. But before even any of that happened, so this girl, like, I don't know why girls don't like me. Like, either they like me, or they love me, or they hate me. Like, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what kind of energy I be putting out or nothing. But I walked on set, and this girl, who I didn't know who she was, I saw her walk by, and I was like, oh, you see a black girl, it's like, hey girl, smile, it's like the little sister code. And so she just kind of went, okay, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I already don't like me for no reason. I ain't said nothing to this girl, I just smiled. So I was like, whatever. So come to find out, she was the one that was going to be placing everyone in the different scenes of this video. And I was like, oh Lord. So long story short, she starts placing people, and like as they're shooting, start shooting. She started asking like everybody, oh, what did you bring? What did you bring? She wanted to see what they brought. She never asked me one time to see my clothes, like anything, because they tell you to bring all this stuff, and I hate bringing all this. This is why when you hadn't made it yet, because you still required to bring suitcases and crap full of stuff, of your own stuff. So I'm like, I have all my stuff over in the corner. She barely even would acknowledge me. And I heard the casting director, he finally showed up on set, and I heard them over in the corner talking, and he was like, well, so what we're gonna do with these three? It was me and 2 other girls, and she was like whispering, and she was like, these 2 over here, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw her looking at me, pointing at me. My satellite ears were on like this at this point. They were like, doo, 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 doo. And she was like, I don't know what we're gonna do with her. Maybe she can just, I don't know, be a bartender or something. And I'm thinking like, oh, the hell I am, because I was booked as a lead, and I'm going to get my lead check. And by the way, when they book you as a certain role, like, they still have to pay you for that role regardless of what you do, or even if you don't even appear in the project, they still have to pay you, just so you know. So I wasn't worried about it because actually for the same casting director, I booked another video where they ran out of time, didn't even get to my scene. So I wasn't even in the video, but I sat there for like 12 hours. That's the worst, but I still got my check. So anyway, now go back to this other part. So I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm gonna be the bartender. I'm gonna suck it up, whatever, deal with it. So then another 4 hours literally rolled by. Nothing. Hadn't even gone through hair and makeup. Now this is the thing I told y'all once before about being prepared. I always bring all of my makeup, all my foundation to set, because you don't know what kind of makeup artist. Like I said, until you've made it, you can be stuck with anybody. And these makeup artists, just because they got some brushes and some foundation in their bag, does not make them qualified to be trying to beat nobody's face down. And that's usually the case. I mean, you can come out looking ashy. You can come out, maybe you got red undertone and they trying to put makeup on that has yellow undertone. I mean, foolishness. Finally, she's like, oh, well, I guess you 3 can go into hair and makeup. I'm like, all right, fine. We go in there. This makeup artist starts to, what does she say? Make my eyebrows pop and put some eyeshadow on. I'm pretty sure I have a picture of myself, I think. Maybe I saved it off my Snap. If I do, I'm going to post it so you can see it. This is what they always do. They always want to darken my eyebrows up. I'm like, my eyebrows cannot be like midnight black. It does not look good on me. And then they want to smoke my eyes out, like make me look like a crackhead, you know, with that, always taking a little brush and going under my eyes. I'm like, stop making me look like a crackhead. And then, you know, the eyeshadow, it always is the same look. And I don't know why, but it's always the same look. And then she put like some pale pink lips on me. And I was just like, this is some foolishness, for real. So I'm trying to not be petty and keep it moving and just, you know, go about my business. So I get my little makeup done. I'm miserable at this point. So the hair girl is like doing these other two girls' hair. One is an Asian girl and one is a white girl. So she gets done with both of them, and then she starts to bring in somebody else from like the other room, and you know, that was going to be filming after me. So I'm like, well, shouldn't you do my hair first, because where our scene is up next? Well, no. She just looked at me puzzled, like a confused deer in the headlights, and she was just like, what do you want me to do with your hair? Like, what am I supposed to do with it? And then she proceeds to pull out this jar of Cantu coconut cream and go hand it to me. Say, here, you can use this. I'm looking at her like, what am I supposed to do with this? My hair is like dry. I'm not putting this cream, this white cream in my hair and it's dry. This is what you use when your hair is wet, or you just, you know, massaging it in. And I'm like, have you ever done black people's hair before? So I finally realized that I'm going to be like in this lingerie scene. Like, I was like, oh, I don't want to do no lingerie scene. You know, it wasn't bad. Like, nothing in the video that I know of that I saw was like bad or anything. The song is super dope, okay? I actually like this artist. I'm not going to tell you who it is because I don't want to get in trouble. But the song is like super dope. I really like the song a lot. Finally, the girl who was placing everybody, the one who didn't like me, she scrapped my entire scene out of the video. And I'm like, okay, I'm not new to this. This has happened before. All right, whatever. She comes back in. She was like, well, look, y'all can do the jazz scene or the bar scene. I don't really care. Or you can go home. This is what she tells us. Yeah. Tiara's looking like, what? You can chime in if you want to.
I just didn't like the intonation of how she said it.
No, she had an attitude, like, and she was just like, I don't really care what y'all do. You can do this scene, or go home. Because the other girl, the other white girl, she was just like, well, we're not, you know, she was like, not trying to be like Sadiddy, but we weren't booked to be extras, and we're not going to, you know, be an extra. Mm-hmm. And so, and the other Asian girl, she was like, yeah, I'm not doing that either. And she was like, well, y'all will be featured, but, you know, it's that or go home. I don't really care what y'all do. I was just like, oh, all right. So the white girl, she was just like, she asked the casting director, because we've all worked with him like multiple times before. He's always booking us on stuff. So you don't want to piss him off. He was like, no, I don't want y'all to leave. You know, he was like, I'd be kind of really, you know, pissed if y'all left. And I'm like, all right. So I guess I'm going to have to sit this out. So I changed into like not a club outfit. I put in that orange Everleger two-piece, like a cute little, you know, dress or whatever. And so I was like, well, maybe I'll just do the jazz scene because it's grown and sexy, whatever. Now, this is where my faith comes into play, because regardless of whatever situation you're in, God will turn your enemies and make them into your footstool. I kid you not, because this is how it ended up going down. So I get changed. By this time, we had been there for about, I think, 11 hours. And so we get on set. The director tries to place me somewhere, and the girl, she brings me in last. So I was the last one to get placed, basically, so I wouldn't have anywhere to be. And now I'm just like a prop on the scene. So I sit down in this little area where the other 2 or 3 leads are. And I'm just sitting there, and so then the artist walks in. I almost said his name. And he was cool. Like, I just automatically expected, because of her energy, honestly, that he was just going to be like whatever towards me. So I was just like, let me just take this abuse and be done and go home. So he sat down kind of across from me, but to the side, and he kept looking, and he looked at me, and I couldn't read his energy. Like, I'm really good usually about reading people's energy, but I really couldn't read his energy that well. And I'm just like, he probably looking at me. Okay, look, this is the thing. I was a bit insecure at this point. I'll be honest with you, because I was the only black girl on set wearing natural hair. I'm talking about out of the leads and the extras. So out of, 50 people, I'm the only one wearing natural hair. So it wasn't that it was intimidating. It just made me a little self-conscious, because it's like, oh, they want the long, straight European hair, this blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, I'm going to stand my ground. They booked me with my picture in natural hair, so this is what they're going to get. So I'm thinking, like, the artist is probably, like, wanting the girls with the long, flowy natural hair, and was going to, like, shuffle me off to the side. So he tells the director to come here, and he was like, what's going on? And he was just like, well, pointing at me, and I'm like, oh, here we go again.
What's going on with her hair?
Right, that's what I was feeling. And so finally, come to find out, he was like, why is she sitting over there? Because he knew that camera angles. And he was like, camera's not going to pick her up. He was like, she's pretty, I like her hair. And I was like, what? I was like, yeah, you tell him you like my hair. He was like, we need that on camera. And he was like, she's not going to be seen sitting right there. Y'all just putting her somewhere. And so he changed the entire scene just so I could be in the camera. Like, he changed it, like I was no longer sitting. He had me to stand up and like walk in and walk to him. And he was like, no, I'm going to walk to you, and we're going to like chit chat, like I'm hitting on you, like whatever, like we're vibing, blah, blah, blah. And so like basically the whole scene was about us. So God will take your enemy and use them as your footstool. And he said it out loud too. He was like, I don't know who decided to put her here. And like, why is she not, he was just kind of like going off a little bit, but not in an angry kind of way, but just like, I'm the boss, I'm paying all y'all, so get it together. And I was like, yeah, what he said. Yeah, I was like Scooby-Dooby-Doo in the back, like, what's the little Scooby puppy?
Scrappy.
Scrappy. I was a little Scrappy in the back, like, yeah, psh, 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 you tell him. And so, anyway, we shot the scene. So although my original scene where I would have had a lot more camera time got cut out, this one is actually more prominent because I didn't have to share it with nobody. Everybody else was the background. Always show up to set with a great attitude. You don't want to be that person that has like a stank attitude. Even dealing with the shenanigans, that I was dealing with, you still have to remain in a certain space because they will hold it and use it against you. I heard the casting director talking to some other girls that he frequently casts as well, and they were asking about some other girl, and he was like, I had to blackball her from the industry. That really happens. I guess she didn't show up like a couple times, and then she had an attitude. I mean, he probably justified his reasons because he even said, he was like, well, I don't like go out of my way just to get somebody blackballed, but if you push me and make me do it, then I'll do it. He said, because what happens is if somebody sees something on your resume, these people all know who's casting what. Like these casting directors, they know who's casting what. They will call and say, oh, I saw you worked with such and such. I'm thinking about booking her. Well, if you've been a little jackass or a little prima donna asshole, guess what? That casting director gonna be like, man, no, she full of herself, or she this or that. I would never book her again. Guess who's not getting booked from that other casting director? Yeah. So it's just best to try to stay in a good space mentally and don't let your emotions run too far. Just try to be happy, be respectful of everyone, especially the people on production, because you never know who you're talking to. It could be, an AC camera guy one day and he could be the director the next project you work on. You just never know in this industry. It could actually be a PA, which is a production assistant, that you talking crap to and, you know, being real stank to. And those PAs are sometimes the ones that will blow up and become like a director or some producer of some big production, and they will remember you. Like, they literally take names and keep a list, and you don't want to be on it. So it's just best to be nice to everybody. You don't have to be sicky sweet, but you can, you know, just have a great attitude. I start journaling in my phone. I'll take my notes section out and I'll just start writing the way I'm feeling, like what's going on. And that way I kind of get it out and I leave it in my notepad and don't carry that negative energy with me. All the negativity goes straight to my notepad. So that's like a survival tip, I guess. That way you don't, because when you start absorbing other people's energy, it starts to affect your energy, and then that comes off on camera, and that's never a good thing. Like, you never want somebody else's energy to affect you so much that it's now shown through you on camera. Because regardless of what you think you might be putting out on camera, like somebody like me, you can see it all in my face. It's not my mouth that I have to work on sometimes, it's my face, because my face will tell the truth in a heartbeat. And so I try to really keep myself in a very neutral space and not let any attitude show and whatever. But I also am not going to stand around and be mistreated. There's a thin line. And when I feel like I'm being mistreated or just blatantly being wronged, then I will stand up for myself, for sure. I did it on a really big production that I was on a pilot for this series, which is actually on cable TV right now. They did an entire first season. I was supposed to be a part of the first season, but because of some stuff that happened on set, I had to call my my union rep because it was just some stuff that was completely unacceptable. I mean, like, extremely unacceptable that was going on. And SAG actually came and shut production down for 3 days. So needless to say, none of us who complained came back, which I'm okay with. I don't care. I feel good knowing that I stood up for myself. And that's, you know, at the end of the day, you got to be true to you. So anyway, I don't know where all this is going, but I figured you guys would want to hear. Maybe it's interesting to you. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button and hit subscribe. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit the little bell next to it so you can get inbox notifications every time we upload a brand new video. Bye.
I'm a dork.